What is up, YouTube? Back in another video. Today's video, man, we're gonna be going over some room clearing strategies that I use when I'm clearing rooms here on Arma reforger. Um, and kind of just some tips and tricks when kind of going around corners and how you kind of want to be aggressive. Because a lot of these mill sims are going to tell you how to play, or they're going to try to force you to play a certain way, which works for them. But I'm going to show you the generic way to do things in the game, the things that make the most sense, the things that actually work in the game in terms of when you're running a multiplayer or something. So it's very simple stuff. We're going to go over kind of the basic stuff when it comes to room clearing. I've designed this a little while ago to the point where it was a while ago, so I don't remember how I set it up. So this is going to be a learning experience as well for me when I go through this for you guys. And we're just going to go through it just a little bit, not crazy. We're not going to sit here for 4 hours, but we are going to spend a little bit of time here kind of going over it and all that type of stuff. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the biggest thing is being comfortable with your weaponry. Leaning left and right, getting used to that, knowing third person and first person aiming strategies, and so you'll kind of learn that as you go. Now, you guys can see here that we got a couple rooms to our right and to our left. So to the left, there is a doorway that is going to be that's going to be the exit. So you go through it and you go about, it wraps around. So for the purpose of this video, we're not going to look left. We're just going to look right. So we're going to act like this is a right-hand doorway. So the left-hand side is just a solid wall. So imagine this is the doorway, you're rolling up to it. Now, a lot of players will just run straight in like this. We're not going to do that. We're going to run up to the side. We're going to peek it a little bit. So we see a target there, shoot that target. And then, so a huge thing that I see people do is they aim and they hold the aim the entire time. And that works in certain situations, especially for player versus player content. For player versus AI, they're going to see you through the wall no matter what. So you have to be smart about how you're aiming. If you're aiming in the wrong spot and you come around the corner, about bam, they hit a headshot, you're dead, game over. Go back to the lobby and be frustrated for 45 minutes. So what I usually do when I'm clearing buildings, especially with AI, is I will kind of go up to the wall and I will use the third person peeking. Again, I'm teaching you guys this as a perspective of being a video game. This is not a milsim scenario. This is not real life. It's a video game. So it's important to use what you have at your ability and the tactics and the abilities and the equipment you have. So what I'll do is I'll actually AI, like third person peek it for the AI, and kind of get an idea of how many I'm dealing with. So I know I'm dealing with 2 individuals straight across. So I'll go back up a little bit, go to the right, look, pop, pop. Room clear, enemies down, so you're going to push up to the next wall. Constantly keeping an eye ahead of you as well, making sure no one pops out in front of you. Now, again, with these AI, they'll move around, and same with real players, they're going to push you, they're going to fall back, they're going to regroup, etc. So be more smart when you're going through different scenarios, and just be mindful of that. And as you go through scenarios, you can kind of put those in the back of your head and kind of learn from them. So I'm going to show you guys another way to do room clearing that's a little more slower, and that's going to be peeking with the reticle out, kind of wiggling out. Room clear. So for rooms that are, if you're going to be going through a lot of rooms and you have other guys with you, what you could do is rotate guys. So have someone be point for this room. While that person's taking care of that room, someone else will move up and become the new point man for the next room and kind of keep going with that same strategy. For here, guy right there, clear. We're going to move around here. So now this is where things get interesting. Because of the way this doorway is shaped, it's going to force you to be very quick with your movements and not to make too many mistakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to peek this corner, clear it, peek that corner, clear it, peek it again, target down, clear behind this. We shot this target earlier, so it's clear. But you see how I just kind of flagged myself, right? You see how I did that? How when I came around the corner to check this, I left myself wide open for that. So how do we fix that? Well, it's very simple. When we came in here and cleared this room, ideally you would have someone else with you to watch this left-hand side. They would clear that corner so that you would have to worry about that corner. But because for this instance we're solo, we can think ahead of time. So we cleared this target, we hit that target. You see we have a little room here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to back up, peek a little bit, shoot him, and then turn, pop, and continue on. Right? We know that area is going to be clear because we shot the target behind there. So we're going to rotate around here, and we're going to follow this pattern. And now for rooms that are like this, they're kind of very simple. So you can kind of decide when you're going through these type of rooms that are like inlets. I designed this in a way to kind of mimic a lot of the different buildings you're going to run into along the your gaming experience. So this is going to have a mesh of different buildings. So you can see here, those first few rooms that we went were more linear rooms. So like if a bedroom to the right, another bedroom on the head, a bathroom, etc., kitchen, living room, whatever. But here on this row, is like a bunch of cupboards or maybe a bunch of closets or little inlets that are just like little tucked into the wall a little bit where the wall sticks out, and then between the sticking out of the wall there's like a chunk of wall missing or something. And so that's kind of the same thing. And for these small inlets that are real short, I usually won't aim because these guns are pretty accurate, so when you're coming out of these corners you can pop them pretty easily. It doesn't take, it helps if you don't miss your shots. But it's pretty simple to do it that way, in my opinion, and then trying to aim it. People are going to tell you different things, but I've always never had a problem with CQB. When I do CQB in this game, I very rarely lose. I actually think I die more in open environments to AI than the actual interiors, just because it's usually this is a much quicker. Usually, again, you want to be speedy with these. In like real life, when you're clearing rooms in real life, I do that for airsoft, and I do reenacting on the side. So the things that I've learned from doing things like room clearing or whatever, or doing infantry movements, when you're in real life, you want to take it slow. You want to be methodical going through a house. Check every corner. Check every cabinet, every closet, bathrooms, whatever, sheds, whatever. And you're going to be checking every little finite thing to make sure everything's clear. But in the game, things aren't going to be hiding in cabinets, right? Those just aren't going to happen. So you can go through these buildings, be careful where you're moving them, but be more aggressive because, again, we are playing a video game, so you don't need to spend a whole lot of time clearing the same bedroom. So it's an important thing to know. So now we've cleared this hallway, and now we've come into a predicament. We have a left and a right-hand side. So what I would normally do in this situation is I'll aim, look right, clear that right-hand side. Now we know the left-hand side. We know the left-hand side is clear, but now we got to clear the right-hand side. So we're going to poke his header on this left-hand corner. See nothing, see nothing. Target, look more. Both targets down. We're going to swoop to the left here. Clear those two targets. Now we've secured a little beachhead, is what I would nickname this, a beachhead, right? Where we've now have a defensive perimeter. We have cleared the hallway straight ahead of us to the right. We have cleared behind us now in this room, and in front of us we have took out 3 of the targets that were sitting here in the doorway waiting for us. So now we can aggressively move in, watch the corner, make sure no one's coming on that side, but we know that's pretty much safe now. We're going to rotate here, look for targets, bam, target down. Target down. We're going to move out again. We're going to do the same thing. Peek. And again, normally you'd have more guys, so if you have more guys, you guys can clear these buildings even quicker. The more people you have, and the more in sync you guys are, the easier it is to clear these buildings, and the quicker it is to clear these buildings. So now we're going to run back. We're going to push up to the left-hand side. Those 2 targets are down. We're going to peek right and left. Just make sure, and this is what I was talking about, the aiming. See how it's kind of dragging, and because you have to click aim. So that's the biggest thing with aiming, and that's why I say don't try to aim too much. Is because if you're aiming, it sometimes gets stuck. Like right here, I'm not holding the aim button right now. It's completely stuck, and so you have to kind of like unaim, and it's kind of weird. I don't know why Arma's aiming is so weird sometimes, but that is something you have to worry about. So that's why it's not the best thing to always aim constantly. So we're gonna look right here, target there. Look around, target there, target there. So that room is now clear. Target down, rotate left. Keep going, target down. That room is now clear. We're going to push back out, and we're now going to go through the magical wall barrier here, and we are now at the end, and this house is now cleared. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of practice this. This is something I've made here in Game Master. You can see here. This took me maybe 45 minutes, I think it was, when I made this, so it didn't take me long. And you could obviously do these much better. I wanted to make this a lot of turning, a lot of leaning, and that's what I was focused on with this. But you can make these kind of however you want. So just always, play around with it a little bit and see. The biggest thing for me when I was learning how to clear, especially in this game, because every game's a little different. I'm actually gonna be working on a bunch of videos today with like COD and stuff. And one of the biggest things when you're learning Arma is that the game is still arcadey. It has milsim-esque things to it, but it is just a very more detailed version of an arcade shooter like Call of Duty or Battlefield. I know the Army kids out here are gonna be like, no, it's not. It is. It absolutely 100% is. Right? Your guns don't jam. You have basically infinite ammo as long as you grabbed it at the base. You have full auto guns that are going to kill very, very quickly, and you still have a decently good movement. So it still has a lot of things that an arcade shooter has. The only difference is now everything in this game is a lot more detailed. Like the vehicles and the aircraft are much more to par with reality than say something like Call of Duty's vehicles or with what is going on with my character right now. What the fuck? I don't know what's happening to my character. I think I got stuck with an AI character. I think that's why. Let me delete him real quick. But yeah, so you're not gonna have it's a little more detailed. So that's the biggest thing is kind of practicing and getting used to the way the game controls, how it feels, and kind of going off that. Now I will say. When you're room clearing, the biggest thing is going to be depending on the room. And a lot of the AI don't really go into buildings. A lot of the room clearing I've encountered in this game has actually been player versus player room clearing. Like, Soviets capture a building and they're holding it, or if I'm playing as a Soviet, being sneaky beaky, I might have to throw CQB in an American base or something, like a military base levy or something. But it's important to understand that there is concerns you're going to face, things like obstacles, like maybe there's landmines set up or somewhere, or you're trying to fight a sniper in a building that's across from the street from you or something, you're trying to fight them, or LMG guy camping in the building. You really never quite know what you're going to find when you do CQB, so just be aware of that. I usually go for the carbine or the 74U for the Russian team when I'm doing CQB if I know I'm going to be encountering that a lot. If I'm not going to be encountering that a lot, but I want to be kind of prepared, usually in the American team, I always use these empty M16 carbine. But on the Soviet team, I usually use, if I'm not using this N74U, I'll use the standardized AK, which is a suppressor and a bunch of mags. That really does kind of cover it all in terms of weaponry that you can use that's kind of decent. And remember, this house I made right here, this building I've made is very empty. There's not a lot of obstacles in there. Um, in a real house in this game, you're going to find things laying around the floor. You're going to find, couches and beds and furniture. So just be mindful of that. A lot of the stuff in this game is not bulletproof. Rounds will go through all these wooden walls you see here. If I wanted to, I could have shot all these targets through the walls. So be aware of that when you're playing, but even some of the houses in this game, you can shoot straight through the walls. The AI do it all the time, so you can actually kind of, if you pay attention to the AI, you'll actually learn what walls are actually penetrable, especially if you're using a high caliber weapon like the 7.62, which is a lot of the Russian weapons. Those things will just go right through walls, no problem. So keep that in mind when you're playing. The American team, unfortunately, you don't have a whole lot of options for penetration because you guys are using 5.56. So it's still a good round, but in the game's eyes, it's not going to be nearly as powerful as 7.62. Snipers, on the other hand, are different. Snipers have the armor piercing, and then some of the LMGs, I believe, I think the Saw ammo can be armor piercing, or it's the M60. I don't remember which one. I think one of them has armor piercing mags. Um, Obviously, FMJ will help you because FMJ is Full Metal Jacket. That is designed to go through stuff like walls. But I have, honestly, in my personal opinion, I feel like the FMJ is not that great in this game. I feel like it's very weak in comparison to, say, something like Call of Duty's FMJs when they had them, or Battlefields, or any other shooter games FMJ. So it's kind of weaker on that side, in my opinion. But hopefully helps some of you guys a little bit with room clearing. I want to do more stuff like this, just doing little things, even if it's just helping like with accuracy, giving ideas for accuracy, because this game really is about the fine details, right? You getting used to room clearing, it can help you in just not only in room clearing, but it will also help you while moving to cover from cover in a large open area. That's another video I want to talk about, doing cover to cover running, because a lot of people I'll see just sit in one spot and they won't move. And unfortunately, that gets them killed more times than it doesn't. So, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, AI are just overpowered in this game. They will literally headshot you from 500 plus meters away. I've been in helicopter as a pilot and got sniped out of the cockpit from miles and miles and miles away. It is unfortunately the side effect of this game, but you have to just work with the game, I guess, until they fix the AI. But the fact that they just buffed it tells me they're probably not going to fix it anytime soon. But I hope again this helped you guys a little bit. I'm gonna try to pump out some videos this week as much as possible. I am moving at the end of this upcoming month, or this month. I don't know why I say upcoming month. So I will be gone for a few days once I move, and once I'm situated at my family member's house, while we're looking for a place, I will probably start uploading again. If I will upload it, I'll update an update video at some point there to fill that in. But this week, tons of videos planned this week. I'm gonna probably focus on some COD stuff this week. Um, some Arma and some Daisy, probably not Daisy, probably just Arma and COD this week. So, look out for those videos. Tomorrow will be no podcast episode because it's Easter. I won't be home. But the other videos for the week, so the Mind Better Friday video should be out. I might put Mind Better Friday up and try to get it out in the morning because I'm going for a reenactment for that weekend. So I want to make sure I get that out in the morning for you guys. But otherwise, everything else should stay the same content-wise. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.